Hello, everyone, and good afternoon from Dubai. I hope you are all safe and well. And before we begin, may I please check if my audio is clear or if you can hear me properly?
Yes, Kriska.
Anybody, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, Kriska, your audio is clear.
Okay, thank you. And yes, welcome to our 87th live webinar. My name is Kriska, and I am delighted to be here with you today, together with the TDCC training team. And we are grateful to have you joining us for another meaningful session. And today's topic is From Frustration to Connection, Understanding the Gestalt Language Processing, or GLP. On behalf of TDCC, we would like to acknowledge or thank our 89 advocates from 13 countries who registered for this session. And to everyone joining us live here and on YouTube, thank you for taking the time to be with us today. And please allow me to acknowledge our registrants from Oman, South Africa, Australia, Egypt, India, Kenya, Lebanon, Nigeria, Pakistan, Tunisia, United Kingdom, USA, and UAE. So wherever you are, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. So before we start, let me share a very short video about TDCC and our esteemed speaker for today. Thank you.
Başlarla rozumieję.
Welcome to the TDCC Community Live webinar. TDCC stands for the Developing Child Center, located in Dubai and Abu Dhabi, UAE, established in 2012. We have been providing personalized support to over 1,000 children. We have over 80 dedicated and committed experts, and we work closely with parents and schools to ensure no child is left behind. We think different, we teach different. We empower, not limit children. Labels like autism, dyslexia and ADHD are not relevant or perceived as disabilities, difficulties or disorders that limit children's abilities. We believe that brilliance needs difference. The TDCC services are available in English, French and Arabic. The inclusive educational services nurture and support the developmental and educational needs and help empower each child to reach their full potential. Occupational therapy assists children in performing and achieving important learning and developmental skills they need in life. Psychomotor therapy is a healthcare profession that is based on a holistic view of the person and is involved in the treatment of different disorders. Speech and language therapy assists children who have disorders of speech, language, communication, and swallowing. Psychology provides both educational and clinical services, including counseling and parenting. ABA therapy focuses on improving specific behaviors. It is commonly practiced as a therapeutic intervention for individuals with autism. The specialist learning support. We assist in developing the academic and social development of students who need support in all these areas. BrainLinks at TDCC provides targeted brain-based programs designed to strengthen learning, regulation, and overall development through the Aerosmith program, the Neuralink process, and neurofeedback. And we design and host local and international training and workshops for practitioners, parents, caregivers, and educators. Just like this one today. We have a few rules to follow during the webinar. Please remain muted while the speaker is presenting. Please give your full attention to the presentation. We will be sending you the replay so you can review it anytime. Please be interactive if the speaker requests your participation. During the question and answer session, we kindly request everyone to type their questions in the chat box and the speaker will address them. Welcome to the 87th TDCC Community Webinar, From Frustration to Connection, Understanding Gestalt Language Processing. We are honored to welcome Nazla Punthala as today's speaker for our webinar. Nazla is a highly experienced speech and language therapist with over 12 years of experience in supporting children with autism, apraxia, ADHD, communication difficulties, and other developmental needs. She holds a Master of Health Science in Clinical Child Development and a bachelor's degree in Audiology and Speech-Language Pathology. With advanced training in Gestalt language processing, neurodiversity affirming practices, OPT, AAC, and sensory-based speech and language therapy. She is known for her child-led, play-based approach that helps children build meaningful communication through connection, trust, and individualized support. Passionate about empowering both children and families, Nazla brings strong clinical expertise and a warm, inclusive approach to every stage of the communication journey. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Nazla.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, Nazla, we can hear you.
Okay, great.
Yes.
Thank you for joining. Right. I'm Nazla. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, all right. So thank you for joining. I hope this session will be interactive, informative, and meaningful for all of you. So my topic of presentation is From Frustration to Connection, Understanding Gestalt Language Processing. These are my objectives: to understand Gestalt language processing, to understand the two styles of language processing, analytic language processing and Gestalt language processing, and to understand communication differences, reduce misconception, and shift from a fixing to a connecting perspective. We will learn practical strategies to support regulation, connection, and well-being across settings. So before we begin, can you think of any examples of child repeating the phrases from cartoons, songs, videos, or adults? Please, can you please put the, please feel free type to in chat box. Any examples the child repeat from daily conversation with the parents, or even from the songs or cartoons? Okay. Yes. Someone say every time when hear the rhymes, they repeat. Yes. Baby shark. Yeah, they repeat the baby shark rhymes. Yes. Do we have more? Yeah, Wheels on the Bus, Peppa Pig. Yes. So yeah, so many of us have heard that one. So here I just put some examples like good job, time to clean up, or the entire alphabetic song A B C D F G, or what's your name, or oh my God. So many of us have heard children repeat these phrases from cartoon, songs, videos, or everyday interactions. These are often called echolalia. So what is echolalia? Echolalia is repetition of words or phrases. There are mainly two types of echolalia, immediate echolalia and delayed echolalia. So what is immediate echolalia? The child repeats words or phrases immediately after hearing them. So why they could repeat this? It could be to process the language. Sometimes they want to decode the words or the phrases. Or it could be even because the child is not developmentally ready. Even if you ask questions, maybe child not yet able to answer questions. Their language is still developing. Or it could be because the child wants to participate in the conversation And it is their way of saying like, I am here. Yeah, I hear you. I am partnering with you. And it could be even the sign of dysregulation. So when a child is overwhelmed, anxious, or sensory overloaded, it acts as a vocal self-soothing mechanism for the child. So for an example, if the adult asks, someone asks like, hi, how are you? Then the child reply, hi, how are you? Or if someone asks, what's your name? Then they reply like, name or what's your name? So this is immediate echolalia. Now, what is delayed echolalia? The child repeat the phrases from past experience, sometimes hours, days, or even months later. So these phrases are often stored as chunks of language from cartoons, songs, video, books, or everyday conversations. It could seem unrelated at first, but it often carry a meaning, emotion, memory, or a communicative purpose for their child. So here is an example. Months ago, the dad was pushing the child on a swing, and the child was saying, dad was saying like, ready, set, go. And the child connect that phrase to the feeling of excitement or the movement. So later, after months, while the child is going in the car, and the child uses the same phrase, ready, set, go. That means the child is not going to do any competition or race, but the child feel that same movement and excitement. So the child connect that phrase to this excitement, and the child repeat the phrase after a certain period of time. So this is delayed echolalia. So now we move on to the language development. There are mainly two types of language development. One is analytic language development and Gestalt language development. So what is analytic language development? Most of us have aware about this language development. The child starts with a babbling, then use single words, then use two-word combination, then move on to emerging grammar in phrases, and use first sentence and move on to the complex sentence. So this is considered as a typical language development, and we could observe this in many language development charts. Even if you go to one pediatrician, we could see that this is the language development pattern. So as you can see, it's a linear step by step, the words to complex sentences. What is Gestalt language development? This is very interesting. The child starts with intonation. The child uses intonation. They call intonation babies. For analytic language development, they call word babies because they use words to communicate. In Gestalt language development, they use intonation to communicate. That means they tune into the melody, rhythm, and emotional tone of speech rather than the individual words. There are mainly 6 stages in Gestalt language development. The stage 1, the child use whole gestalts or delayed echolalia. That means the child use whole scripts to communicate. Same like the wheels on the bus go round and round. So that whole phrase the child used to communicate. And in stage 2, the child starts to mitigate the gestalts or trimming down or mixing and matching. Like for an example, let's go park become let's go mall. So the child start to mix and match, or child start to trimming down that whole gestalt. And in stage 3, the GLP uses isolation of words. They use single words or two-word combination. This is a critical transition stage. And in stage 4, then self-generated phrases develop, and in stage 5 and 6, early grammar and advanced grammar stage. So as you can see, these stages are not like a rigid step-by-step process. Child may move back and forth, and the progress is not a linear progress, it's a non-linear progress. So many parents say that my child started to say in sentences one day before the words. So when we ask more about the details, we came to know that it is Gestalt language development. So now I'll be going to discuss about the stages. So in the stage 1, the child use whole gestalt or the delayed echolalia to communicate. That means the child uses the whole memorized chunks or script. So here is an example. It's picked from Peppa Pig. So there's a phrase like jumping in muddy puddles. So the child pick up this phrase, and then later when the child wanted to play, or child mean like, okay, child is feel like I am having fun. So instead of using I am having fun or I want to play, the child uses this gestalt like jumping in muddy puddles. So if someone adult hear this one and think about maybe the child wants to see Peppa Pig, or maybe the child wants to watch the show, but here the child actually mean that I am having fun or I want to play. So it's very important to know that the literal meaning behind the gestalt. So here is a second example. It's from Paw Patrol. So every time for rescue someone, the chase is using the phrase chase is on the case. So when the child feel this same like feeling of rushing towards an action or to help someone, child might not use a word like I'm coming or I want to help you. Instead of that, the child use chase is on the case. So here we will go to a video so you will get a clear like how it look like. So I'm going to play the video. If you feel any difficulty to hear, just please let me know.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no, JJ! Oh no! Wait, JJ is home! Nothing happened! Oh,
What happened?
happened!
Oh no.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Happened! 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 Oh no! Happened! Oh no! Oh, happened! Happened! Oh no! Oh no! Oh, happened!
So here, oh no, it's a very common stage 1 gestalt. The child use it because child can use it in many situations because it's strongly connected to the surprise, mistake, frustration, or excitement, or something unexpected happening. So as you can see here, the child use a varied intonation, and there are some unclear or unintelligible language, and child or even repeats like what happened. So here on one other example of stage 1 gestalt.
Yeah.
So you could see a rich intonation there the child uses, and some is very unclear. We call it as jargon also. This is like unintelligible scripts you could hear. So this is an example of stage 1.
Oh no!
Sorry. So now let's move on to stage 2. Stage 2 here, the child begins breaking apart and mixing chunks into smaller pieces. So the whole phrase jumping in muddy puddle becomes jumping outside or muddy fun or big puddles. And the child starts mixing parts to create new combinations like jumping in water or puddles time or muddy puddles fun. So this happens in stage 2. So child recognize that jumping in muddy puddle isn't just a one giant word. It's made up of smaller units. So we can break it down into chunks like jumping in car or look at muddy puddles like this. So we can watch the stage 2 example.
Let's make it together. Make a circle. Purple.
Make a oval.
Let's make an oval. There we go. See you later, Pink. Ooh, I got it.
Make
So you can see that make a purple or make a oval. So there is mixing and matching happens in stage 2. And stage 3. This is a magic stage. Why do we call it as magic stage? Because here the child languages become more flexible and self-generated. The child uses more single words and two-word combinations like big jump, fun, more puddles, or mud. So the single words begin to break free from long scripts. So language may look like analytic language processor more, and you can also observe some GLPs may become quieter in this stage. That's okay. There is no need to be panic because this is that the child understand or reorganizing the language. And you could see more pointing and labeling also here because it increases as the child starts using individual words meaningfully. So this is the stage where the child understand that each word has a unit. The child understand that it's not a whole gestalt. We can break it into smaller pieces. So here we can watch the example of stage 3.
Cool. Magic time. Woo! Pink magic.
Pink magical.
Pink magical smoke. Pink tail. Pink hair. Pink trees.
Pink colorful trees.
Yeah.
So here, as you can see that she's not using too many scripted words or intonations. Here it's like one word or two word combination we could see in stage 3. So in stage 4, we could see simple original sentences. So towards the stage 4, children begin developing self-generated sentences with emerging grammar. So sentences may still sound immature or inconsistent, but the languages become more flexible and original. Example like my boots are wet. So this, even though maybe the grammar is not correct, but it's just simple original sentences starts in stage 4. In stage 5, the more complex grammar happens, like I want to jump again because it is fun, or I crashed the car because it was too fast, or can we race the cars together? And moving on to the stage 6, more advanced grammar happens. The child uses flexible, organized, conversational language for reasoning, storytelling, and problem solving. So this is an example of stage 4 beginning grammar.
The horse and the cow like jumping.
No, they're too big.
No, they're too big?
Yeah,
Probably a little.
Yeah.
Wow! It is wobbly.
Yeah.
Wow!
So here the child starts to use simple grammar in stage 4. So as you can see, this is stage 1 to stage 6. The child starts using whole gestalts, all memorized chunks. And in stage 2, it become mitigated gestalts, breaking apart and mixing chunks happen. In stage 3, single words and two-word combinations. And move on to the stage 4. Again, the grammar, simple grammar happens. And in the stage 5, more complex grammar, and move on to stage 6, more advanced grammar. So now we know that there are 2 language development, Gestalt language development and analytical language development. In Gestalt language development with the chunks, and there we we will see immediate echolalia and delayed echolalia. And in GLP's focus is more on intonation and sound stream. And the gestalts can be from multiple language sources like movies, technology, iPad, games, or YouTube videos. In analytic language development with single words, and we will see more referential language there. Referential language means the words that clearly points to something specific. That means the words that are used to directly refer to specific objects, people, or action. For an example, if the child says a ball, that refers to ball only. If the child say I want water, that is a clear request from the child. And if the child say mommy is here, then that has a clear meaning. But in GLP, especially in young GLPs, we won't see that referential language there. For an example, if the child say, let's go. So that means it could mean many things. Maybe the child is excited, or sometimes the child is overwhelmed also. Sometimes the child wants to leave. So to find the meaning behind that, it could be a little tricky in the early GLP stages. Referential language can happen after stage 3. We could see in Gestalt language development. We could see it after stage 3. So now what is Gestalt language processing? It's a natural way some individuals develop and process language. And GLP is common both in neurotypical and neurodivergent language development. And children acquire large multi-word chunks or gestalts first, rather than starting with the single words. Now, what are we can just look into the historical roots of GLP. In 1983, Ann Peters coined the term Gestalt language processing to describe the language unit of any length processed as one meaning. And in 1983, Barry Preston first identified 4 stages of Gestalt language development. In 2012, Marsh Blank developed natural language acquisition framework by expanding research into 6 stages. So now, what is Gestalt? One whole unit. That the Gestalt term means it's come from a German word that means whole. A Gestalt can be scripts. That scripts can be derived from songs, movies, advertisement, YouTube clips, or stories. And it can be meaningful chunks of language, that whole phrase. And the long gestalts can be mistaken for babbling or jargon. And it could be the language heard at school or home or like anywhere. And gestalts can be of any length, like a full book, it could be even a full book. So Gestalt language processing, it's a normal way to develop language, and it can be, GLPs may be delayed in their journey, same like analytic language processors. And when we took the relationship to the autism, it's prevalent in the autistic community, but it can be used by, it can be seen in neurotypes and neurodivergence. And not all GLPs are autistic, but many autistic individuals are GLPs. And it's not a diagnosis, it's a processing style, not a clinical diagnosis or treatment method. And not every GLP needs therapy also. It's only for those who need real support, that therapy will be helpful. Now, how do you know if a child is GLP? So we can look at some signs to look for speaking kids. There will be rich intonation. That means you will see a rise and fall in the pitch. Maybe you can understand what they are saying, but the tone, pitch, and prosody matches the original speaker, the song, or the book, or the movie. And we could see unintelligible long strings of language that sound like jargon or babble. And we will see stuck single words. That means difficulty to word two-word combinations like For an example, if analytic language processor, if they learn a language, if they learn a word like blue, it is flexible for them. They can immediately pair it with other words like, and they can say blue car, blue pen, blue ball, blue sky, like this. But for a when GLP, they has a single word, like they might have colors, shapes, numbers, or letters, but they will find the difficulty to combine it to form blue car or cargo. This two-word combination could be difficult for them. So even in the early stages of GLP, we will hear a lot of rich vocabulary of labels we could see, but you will never hear the combinations like yellow ball or two cars. The words simply they cannot mix it. Even if you hear some words, that might be the taught phrases or memorized script for them. For example, if the child learned that, if the parent teach them this is a blue car, they memorized it, and when they see a blue pen, maybe they will say the blue car. So they memorized it as like name of that specific toy or specific thing. And they have ability to sing, they may have ability to sing or scrape, but there will be seeing limited spontaneous speech and minimal functional progress despite intervention. If they are, especially if they are supported with the analytic language way, there we could see a minimal functional progress. So now what are the signs to look for non-speaking or minimally speaking kids? Not all non-speaking children are GLP, but some may show characteristics that consistent with the GLP. There, if we listen carefully their jargon, we could see that there is a rich intonation, and we can hear unintelligible speech, often we labeled as jargon, and interest in repetitive media engagement, like they rewatch the same video or repeat the same songs or part of the song or replay TV or movie scenes or even acting out or scripting familiar media sequence. And even for minimally speaking kids, some single words might be there that might be taught, not like a spontaneous one. And limited progress despite intensive intervention. So even if if the child is using AAC, alternative augmentative communication, maybe we could see limited progress because maybe the child using that AAC specifically programmed for the analytic language processes. So what happened when they are not understood? So now we know that children using Gestalt language processing often communicate through echolalia and scripts. So what happens if they are not understood by the communicative partner? If someone child scripts or echolalia, if we treat as a meaningless communication, then the child may feel that that communication is not understood or not valued. So over time, they maybe communicate less, withdraw, or stop attempting to connect with the others. And the child could be in grammar traps, especially in the early stages. If we are trying to correct the grammar, these children are not ready for the rule set. They need more chunks in the early stages. So they will be in a frustration. They will be in the trap of grammar. And also, if we prompt them like say ball, or we ask too many questions before they reach into stage 4, or we are asking them too many drills, say ball or say cat, that might create the anxiety for GLP child who cannot access single words flexibly. So what practical strategies we can use with GLP kids? Here, so if you suspect your child is a GLP, we can avoid certain things. We can avoid trying to eliminate or extinguish the script or Gestalt or echolalia because echolalia communicates. So in the past, actually, in many of us tried to eliminate echolalia or ignore or redirect it. So now actually we know that echolalia communicates. So stop avoiding or we avoid this one by trying to eliminate or extinguish the echolalia. And we can also avoid constant testing. Like many adults used to ask the questions like to their child or the kids like, what did you say? Can you repeat it? What is that? So this kind of constant testing might feel the more pressure, and we can avoid demanding imitation repeatedly. Okay, repeat after me, or say after me. Say after me, this is ball. Say after me, this is cat. So this might be again the frustration for the child, or like pressuring the child to say it properly. So all these things we can avoid. So what we can use instead, how we can support instead, we can acknowledge. How we are going to acknowledge the child? By smiling, nodding, or repeat it back. Yeah, okay, I listen you. So even if you can do this, if you can't understand the script or jargon, even if you can't understand what they're saying, simply nod like, okay, I'm listening you. Yeah, okay. So this will support the child. Someone is, oh, she's listening to me, or he's, oh, okay, he's understanding me. So this kind of feeling the child will get. And we can follow the child's interest, follow the child lead. How we can do that? By observing what the child is doing. If the child is playing, join them in that moment instead of directing them, instead of like using adult directed questions or prompts. We can simply join with them and observe and be a partner with them in that play. So do the detective work. That means earlier we discussed that we cannot take it as a literal meaning. So we need to do some detective work, like try to understand the meaning behind the script instead of assuming they are random or meaningless. So for an example, if a child says like, it's too scary during a difficult task, that phrase may not literally mean the fear. It could communicate frustration, uncertainty, or feeling overwhelmed. So if we do some kind of like a detective work, like asking the parent or teachers or whoever the child is more attached, maybe we could get that the child mean this is one. I mean something different. We will get the something different meaning for that one. For example, recently I had a child who uses like in the session she says penguins, penguin, there's a penguin, there's a penguin. So actually there were no penguin in my session. There were no animals, there were no birds, nothing. We are doing completely different activity. But the child says this one. So later after the session, I check with the caretaker, like she says this one, what it could be. Then she says like, oh, that's from her favorite cartoon. Whenever she is happy, she uses this phrase. So that way we can find out that, oh, okay. So next time, so I know that, okay, the child is happy. So I can model like, oh, I am happy now. So later the child can understand that, okay, she can gradually she can understand that concept. She can use that one. Then practice more silence. This is very important. As a speech therapist, it will be very difficult to keep silence in the session, even for the parents. I mean, even for like we are thinking like if you speak more, the child speak more. But so this is we need actually a little bit of practice for keeping silence, because when we use the silence, we could hear spontaneous language, more spontaneous language we could hear. Then try to eliminate questioning as a form of connection and interaction. So sometimes the parents check their child's knowledge by asking, what is this? What's the color? What is she doing? So these kind of questions can be we can just eliminate in the early, especially in the early stages, and we can use like a comment. We can use the commanding instead of that. We can use like, oh, this is a plane, or this is a green color. So the child, we can use more narration or commenting instead of asking too many questions. And also, sometimes we used to do prompting also, showing something like a cat or something, the picture of cat, and we say like, this is, then we wait for the child to respond. We are waiting for that answer, cat. But we can try to avoid all this, and we can do that. Instead of that, we can comment, narrate, and pose it. That is, yeah, declarative language. So declarative language, it helps to reduce the pressure. So we can describe what is happening. So during play or daily routines. So it helps the child to process and respond in their own way. Like instead of asking, what are you building? We can use a description like, wow, that tower is so tall. The car is going so fast, and pause. Give a silence, pause, just use that description and wait. We could see that the child uses the phrases later on or responds to that. And sensory support. This is also really important. If the child cannot process or produce the language, if they are in the state of sensory overload or under arousal, so we need to be like make sure that the child is in the optimal zone of learning to process the language better. So now we can see some interaction style like compliance versus connection. What does a modeling without demand look like? We are just going to discuss some examples. We want to model the language that is natural. We want to model the language, there is no responses required. So how we can model it? If a situation like child wants a juice, instead of saying, asking the child, say, I want juice, we can use like, oh, juice, I want juice. So we can model that way. And if a child goes to the door, we can say, let's go, it's time to go to park. Rather than asking, repeat, can you repeat, open the door? Can you repeat, open the door? Instead of that, we can use, let's go, it's time to go to park. And if the child is upset, immediately we don't want to ask, tell me what happened, tell me what happened. Instead of that, we can use, oh no, it's hard. I got hurt, I got boo-boo. All this kind of like modeling we can do. And if the child is playing, we want to ask him respond in the full sentences. We can say like, that was so fast. We can use the declarative language there. So this is just an example. This is a style. So if you are giving the language, and even if you are giving the language and you are expecting that there is a response, then it's not a modeling, it's a prompting. So, and also make sure that avoid modeling using you phrases like pronouns you. Instead, we can try to use like let's or that or how about it or we instead of using you as a phrase, because the child might repeat that back to you. So when GLP communication is supported, when adult accept the script as a meaningful communication, and when the adult interpret the meaning, that means the adult look for the meaning behind the word, or when he model naturally without any pressure and respond with the connection before the correction, then the impact on the child is huge. The child's emotional safety is increases over time, and script become more flexible for them, and their regulation skills improve steadily, and meaningful and intentional communication we could hear. So now there are some myths and facts. Like there's a myth like, oh, echolalia, that's a wrong language or delay. Now we know that it's not a wrong language. It's a different way of learning language. And echolalia is a meaningless repetition, or it's a parrot talk. No, it's a communication with meaning and purpose. And maybe we could say that only autistic children use this. No, many children who use echolalia during their development. And it should be something stopped or corrected. No, it should be actually understood and we should support. So now we move into the practical supportive strategies across settings. So how we can support at home, how we can support the kids at home through natural routines or by modeling meaningful language within play, mealtime, or daily transitions. Like during snack time, instead of asking like questions like, what do you want? We can just model like, I like apple, or I'm hungry, I want more, or I don't like pasta. So all this we can model instead of asking the questions. Then we can use familiar scripts, like use the child's favorite gestalts naturally in context. If, for example, if the child says, ready, set, go. So maybe we can use it before pushing a swing, ready, set, go. So it is more natural in the context. And use, then validate and using gesture like let's eat or come on in context. Like we can say that let's eat every time before the mealtime starts, or come on, Ella, or when leaving the house. So over time, the child may begin to use these exact phrases in similar situations. And we can model, provide language model without forcing imitation. Like during cleanup time, we can say like, let's clean up. So every day while putting the toys away together. And we can honor all communication, like treat gestures, scripting, AAC, and vocalization as a meaningful communication. Like if the child hums a familiar song to request something, then we can respond it by singing back or playing the song. Now, how we can respond support in the classroom. So in the classroom also, teachers can use some lines like if the teachers are using the saying line up, if the teacher says like just line up, it's too short and it's very low intonation. So instead of that, teachers can use let's line up, it's time to line up, or sing line up everyone. So similarly for sit down, we can model like let's get seated. So it has a rhythm and intonation, so it's not a short, so it will be more supporting for GLP. And peer connection and support to adapt scripts for interaction with the classmates. GLP wants to connect, maybe GLP wants to connect with their classmates, but often don't know how to break down language. So teachers can model like a chunk. They can use, so the child can use it in different situations. Like instead of prompting a child to ask Ali for the truck, or um, instead of prompting for questions, teachers can say like, teachers can model this one. Can I play too? Or let's build together. This kind of phrases are, can model so the child can use it in many situations. Also, try to avoid questions like, do you want a turn? Because GLP likely repeat the question back to you, like, do you want a turn? So, but for them, they actually mean that I want a turn. So we can model it like, it's my turn now, or let's share. Then use visuals and AAC to support understanding. So when we are using the visual schedules in the classroom for the lunchtime, we can pair it with the gesture like it's time for lunchtime. Or if the kids are using AAC, then we can program long phrases or the whole chunks on a single button, like a single button that says, I need a break, please. Rather than like forcing them to build a sentence word by word when they are dysregulated. Also helping the child use language effectively for academic requests. Like when a child needs help in the classroom task, give them versatile phrases like they can usually use across different subjects like, let's do it together, or I need help. Or we can model like, all done with math, it's time for something new. So these kind of phrases we can model in the classroom. Now, how we can support in the therapy? So in therapy, by creating a safe space where the child's existing scripts are accepted, We can expand that mitigations, try to expand the scripts. So it gives the flexibility later on to the child. For an example, if the child says like, let's go, we can model, let's go outside or let's go home. It's home time. So still we are validating the child's original script. And therapy goals are guided by NLA framework, natural language acquisition framework. We need to use that because in NLA framework, there are like different stages, how we can support the kids in each stages. So we can use that Marsh-Planck NLA framework in our therapy settings. And we can also, we also wants to presume competence, means that assume the child understand, feels, and capable of communication, even if they are not speaking or responding in expected ways. Or we can use strength-based approach. That means the child, what the child can do, what is their interest, what's their motivation, what are their strengths, rather than focusing on deficit or what are the missing skills. And respect the child's bodily autonomy. Respect the child's right to control their own body. Do not force touch or always seek consent through the cues and honor no signals. And prioritize sensory needs. Yeah, this is also very important, considering that sensory regulation, so the child is emotionally and physically available for the communication. For example, if the child seek movement in the session, maybe we can take them into the swing and say higher swing, more swing, or push again. So we are ensuring that regulation that support the language learning for the child. And moving systematically from rigid scripts towards the flexible language, and reduce drill and excessive labeling tasks. Reduce drill by asking too many questions for the child. As I said, the child can, GLPs can answer the question only at the later stages. So especially for the younger GLPs, we just reduce the drills and focus on the modeling, and reduce excessive labeling tasks, asking them what they are doing, how they are doing, what the child is doing now, asking too many questions. This we can reduce. And if we can collaborate with the other team, we can collaborate with the parents, teachers, educators, and the therapists among to know that the child scripts. AAC, if they are using a robust AAC, we can add more gestalts in the AAC device. And we don't want to remove the core words because later stages, the child need that core words. Now, here is an example from Liam at the playground. Sorry. So here is just a story. Like the child here, Liam, he wants to swing. So he uses his familiar script like ready, set, go. And the adult doesn't understand what the child says. And the adult says like, stop saying that. Tell me what you want. Then the child gets frustrated and he says like, I'm excited. Inside he was thinking like, I'm excited. I want to swing. I'm using my words that I can use it. So if the child is supported in the right way, if the adult, if the mother or someone who is that communication partner understand the child and support him, then the child frustration reduces, more connection. We can see that, oh yeah, so if the mama asks like, oh, you want to swing, let's go, then the child feel like, okay, she got me, she understand me. Over time that language become more flexible and meaningful. So here comes the end of the presentation. So by embracing Gestalt language development, we honor the natural wiring of the brain. Moving from whole to part is not a delay, it's a different, beautiful way to finding one's voice. Thank you.
Thank you, Mom.
So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask or put in the chat box.
Okay, Nesla, thank you. I think we don't have any further questions. And if you have, just feel free to send us an email, and you can find the email in the chat box. And thank you again, Nesla, for that very informative session. And thank you, everyone, for joining us today. And of course, from YouTube live stream that we have. And we will be sending you the replay of this webinar. And please stay tuned for the TDCC announcement, including the next webinar schedule that we have. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a lovely weekend.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you once again for joining us today. Before we conclude, we would also like to take a moment to share some of the services, programs, and upcoming initiatives available at the Developing Child Center. Upcoming webinar series. As part of our continued commitment to raising awareness, promoting education, supporting child development, and empowering families, TDCC continues to present insightful webinar topics led by expert speakers and practitioners. Our core educational programs. Beyond our webinars, TDCC also offers a range of educational and therapeutic programs designed to meet the unique needs of every child. Early Intervention Program. Our Early Intervention Program in Abu Dhabi supports young children in building essential developmental, communication, social, and learning skills during the most important early years of growth. Intensive Educational Program in Dubai. Our intensive educational program provides structured and individualized support for children who need focused intervention to strengthen their learning, behavior, and school readiness skills. The program offers Early Intervention Program, School Readiness Program, and Life Skills Program guided by our multidisciplinary team. Psychology and Family Support Services. At TDCC, we also understand the importance of emotional well-being, behavior, and family guidance in a child's overall development. Psychology Services. Our psychology services help children and families better understand emotions, behavior, development, and mental well-being through professional guidance and support. Educational Psychology. Our educational psychology services help identify learning needs, cognitive strengths, and challenges so children can be better supported in school and beyond. Parenting Services. Through our parenting services, we empower families with practical strategies, guidance, and support to help them confidently navigate their child's developmental journey. Counseling for children, teens, and adults. We also offer counseling for children, teens, and adults, providing a safe and supportive space to work through emotional, behavioral, social, and life challenges at every stage. Social, emotional, and behavioral assessments. Our social, emotional, and behavioral assessments help identify the emotional and behavioral factors affecting a child's daily functioning, relationships, and success at home or in school. Comprehensive assessments. To better understand each child's individual needs, TDCC also offers a range of specialized assessments. Multidisciplinary assessments. Our multidisciplinary assessments bring together different specialists to provide a holistic understanding of a child's strengths, needs, and developmental profile. Developmental assessments. Our developmental assessments help identify a child's progress across key areas such as communication, motor skills, social skills, and learning. Dyslexia assessment. This assessment helps identify signs of dyslexia and provides valuable insight into a child's reading, spelling, and language-based learning needs. Speech and language therapy assessment. Our speech and language therapy assessment looks at a child's communication abilities, including understanding, speaking, listening, social communication, and speech clarity. Occupational therapy assessments. Our occupational therapy assessments help identify challenges related to sensory processing, motor skills, attention, coordination, and everyday independence. Sleep assessment and intervention program. This program helps identify sleep-related challenges and provides practical strategies to support healthier sleep routines and better daily functioning. Psychomotor therapy. Psychomotor therapy supports the connection between movement, emotions, behavior, and learning. Through guided activities, it helps children strengthen body awareness, coordination, emotional regulation, confidence, and overall participation in everyday life. Speech, language, and communication support. Communication plays a vital role in every child's confidence, learning, and connection with others. That is why TDCC offers a range of services to support speech, language, and communication development. Speech and language therapy. Our speech and language therapy services support children in developing communication, understanding, expression, articulation, and social interaction skills. Feeding therapy. Our feeding therapy supports children who experience difficulties with chewing, swallowing, food acceptance, or mealtime routines in a supportive and gradual way. Play therapy. Through play therapy, children are supported in expressing feelings, processing experiences, and developing emotional regulation through the natural language of play. Occupational therapy and daily living support. TDCC also provides occupational therapy and daily living support to help children become more confident, regulated, and independent. Occupational therapy. Our occupational therapy services help children improve the skills they need for daily life, including play, learning, motor coordination, attention, and independence. Sensory integration therapy. Through sensory integration therapy, children who have difficulties processing sensory information can become more regulated, focused, and comfortable in everyday settings. Handwriting program. Our handwriting program helps children strengthen the fine motor, visual motor, and coordination skills needed for clearer and more confident writing. Toilet training program. Our toilet training program provides structured support to help children build readiness, confidence, and independence in toilet training. Listening therapy. Our listening therapy is designed to support attention, auditory processing, communication, and learning through targeted listening-based intervention. Tomatis therapy. We also offer tomatis therapy, a sound-based intervention that supports listening, attention, language, emotional regulation, and overall brain development. Specialized therapeutic interventions. For children who may benefit from more targeted intervention, TDCC also offers a number of specialized therapeutic services. Neurofeedback therapy. Our neurofeedback therapy helps train the brain toward healthier patterns that can support attention, regulation, emotional balance, and overall functioning. Neurolink process therapy. Our Neurolink process therapy supports brain-body connections that can positively influence regulation, learning, attention, and emotional development. ABA therapy. Our ABA therapy uses evidence-based strategies to support communication, learning, behavior, social skills, and everyday independence. The Aerosmith program. An evidence-based cognitive training program that strengthens the brain's learning functions to create lasting change. It is done online and available for children, teens, and adults. Educational therapy. Our educational therapy provides individualized support for children who need help with learning skills, academic confidence, and school-related challenges. Dyslexia and Dysgraphia Intervention Program. This supports children with reading and writing difficulties through targeted intervention that builds stronger literacy and written expression skills. Summer Intensive Program. During school breaks, our Summer Intensive Program offers focused support to help children continue progressing in key developmental and academic areas. Phonics Boot Camp. And through our Phonics Boot Camp, children can strengthen foundational reading skills by building confidence in sounds, letters, decoding, and early literacy. Parent and Caregiver Empowerment. At TDCC, we believe that empowering families is an essential part of every child's progress. Caregiver Training. Our caregiver training equips parents and caregivers with practical tools and strategies to better support a child's development in everyday routines. Empower Me Program. Through our Empower Me program, families receive knowledge, guidance, and hands-on support tailored to their child's unique needs.